crap. I just think it's kind of lame. That's what I'm talking about with Stridebreaker, though. That's nasty.
Stridebreaker is still good, and I do not care what anyone else says. Stridebreaker has fit its purpose a lot more than it did before, and I don't think people are utilizing it the way it should be utilized.
To begin, I'd like to give a bit of context on why Stridebreaker is even good on the first place on Garen, and why, from that, I think it's good now. So on release, Stridebreaker had a dash which made it very appealing for juggernauts to run. Darius, Garen, it was just a very appealing item. But that wasn't necessarily the full reason on why it was good on Garen. I feel like people have gotten a bit lost on why Stridebreaker was good in the first place. It does have very good stats. The stats are very beneficial to Garen. The damage was very beneficial, but the biggest part of it was that it gave movement speed and it gave an AoE slow. That was the biggest part for Garen that he really utilized and really needed. You go all the way back to Season 7, Season 8 Garen. What are his best items? It was Youmuu's and it was Deadman's. Anything with movement speed, and especially a slow, Deadman's has always been on top, is going to be great on Garen. Even like a Randuin slow has just been so important for Garen to have. Just any kind of slow. He's a champion with absolutely no CC. Just having some amount of CC can make all the difference. It's the difference of you landing one spin to you landing all 8 base spins. Like it's a really big deal, and it really changes the entire game for Garen. So why is the new Stridebreaker so good for Garen? I believe it's good because of its utilization with Phase Rush and how much movement speed it gives. Now, Stridebreaker gives 20 movement speed whenever you hit something. That's normal, right? But it also gives 35% bonus movement speed when you cast it. Over 3 seconds. It's a lot of movement speed, and when you pair that up with Phase Rush, which is going to give you another 40% late game, you are talking 75% movement speed when you just QE Stridebreaker. This was the point of Stridebreaker. Stridebreaker was meant to be an AoE slow, was meant to give movement speed, and make you fast, and slow people, right? Like, that's the entire purpose of Stridebreaker. Stridebreaker was not meant to be this dueling item. It was not meant for duelists, and it was not meant for dueling style champions. It was meant for juggernauts who needed the movement speed, needed the slow, and I feel like it fits that a lot more now. The ability haste didn't make sense. The damage never made any sense. The movement speed makes a lot more coherent sense with what the item's direction is. I do believe they should decrease the cost of it. They should decrease the movement speed gained by the Stridebreaker active. And I believe they should add a base movement speed onto the item stats. And I think that would honestly set it off really well as just a solo item. But that's really how Stridebreaker has been changed, and I really think that that's why Stridebreaker is still good now.